Okay, here we are, Body Design University. We are here making it happen with personal trainer talk Wednesday, 2 p.m. with Mr. Doug Blake. What's going on, Douglas? How are you, sir?
Oh man, doing awesome, doing awesome. What about you? What's
I'm doing
happening up?
good.
What's happening in Georgia? What's going on up there?
Last week we had a ton of rain, Monday through Friday, just a bunch of rain. And then Saturday and Sunday, it was absolutely beautiful. We literally had incredible weather. So somebody upstairs was looking out for us.
You
Gave
did
us
a little
some.
hiking too, didn't you? Huh?
I did this past weekend. I got up to Yona Mountain up in North Georgia. It's about
Nice.
maybe about 90 miles north. It's just beautiful. It's really cool for anyone out there that's in Georgia or anywhere close. Check it out. You should actually come to Georgia. The hike is so good. You can actually come to Georgia for it. But yeah, had a great weekend. And we've got, I'm upset. We're going to be missing Johnny Gonzalez. I'll miss him today, but he has provided me the questions that have been sent in.
I got questions too.
Okay. All right, cool.
It's crazy.
So we're gonna work through this. Guys, if you're out there and you're tuning into this and you are a personal trainer or want to become a personal trainer, every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we are here to answer your questions. You can go to Body Design U, as in university, bodydesignu.com/ask and submit your question. And if you'd like, you could even join somewhere. There might be a link where you can click on it and join us live for this personal trainer talk. We have a good number of questions that come in. We try to cap it each week, but we try to get through them all. And usually these are questions that are helping personal trainers get better results with their clients, provide better service, and make a higher income. That's what this little talk that we do every Wednesday afternoon. Today, I don't know. I needed a little bit more than the.
Oh, wow.
And do you see what that says?
What time is it? Oh, you went to the wet. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about.
I'm just saying, So
and I just have water.
You're drinking lemon water over there. Guys, we got a great lineup today. Thank you for joining us, and let's make this thing happen. Let's get some questions answered for everyone out there that has sent or continue to send these in. Thank you very much. We appreciate it, and we actually really look forward to answering these questions for you and having a conversation. Again, there's a link somewhere. If you have a question that you're thinking of right now and you'd like to ask or have a conversation with Doug and I, we would invite you to join us. You can join us live right here on this stream, and we'll have a conversation about it. But please be specific if you do have that question. Johnny might be joining us a little bit later, and he can help us kind of filter those out and make sure that we're here and able to answer.
This is like Johnny's thing for the week. I mean, this
I know.
is like he lives for this, doesn't he?
He does. But Johnny's such a busy guy that, for him to carve out that time for us on Wednesday today, he said, you know what, listen, I'm busy. I just don't have time for that. Okay. I've got some things there, but yeah, he's actually on a call with some folks. I know this afternoon, in another country. So anyhow, let's make this happen. So one thing before we get started, for those of you that don't know, Doug and I and Body Design University teach a 2-week live course here in Atlanta, Georgia, every 2 months. And the enrollment is closing in 2 weeks. So in 2 more weeks, the enrollment is closing for the next live course. We have an incredible group of folks that are coming in from all over the country right now to learn a little bit more and learn the skills that they need to make it happen as a personal trainer out there. Not only get their NASM or A certification, but a whole lot more. If you're interested in learning more about our live course, and so we are the only, and I say only, live 2-week personal trainer course, 96 hours, ACE NASM approved partners in the United States right now. This is a 2-week intensive. We take the most important things that you would ever want to learn about personal training. We condense it into a 2-week, what we like to call boot camp for personal trainers. And so if you're interested in that and you want more information, you can again find us on our website. Thank you so much for tuning in. Doug, are you ready to make this thing happen or what?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Man, we got some questions, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do. Let me, I'm going to send, make sure Johnny's got an invite out there when he gets done with his call. If he's able to join us, I'm sure he will. So I'll put that out there. Okay. So the first one is coming in from, and Doug, I don't know if Johnny sent you the same ones that he has received. Does it say 10, 13 questions?
It does.
Okay. All right. So we'll go back and forth, and I'll fire off the first one. Gary Brightwell from Arizona Village, Arizona. Will my client see the same results through a subsistence diet, living off the land, versus eating more modern diet? Subsistence.
Subsistence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm really embarrassed, but
I was wondering if you were I'm going
to have to get to the point where I'm going to have to wear them. I don't even have them here with me, but
subsistence.
Look,
yeah.
I mean, yeah. Doug, I'm going to let you tackle that because I know that you're going to be excited about that.
And he even gave us the definition of a subsistence diet, which is living off the land. So I like that. Versus
subsistence diet,
living off the land, versus eating a more modern diet. Gary, he's in Arizona. So actually a pretty good question. And the answer is it's not going to make probably any difference, to be honest with you, Gary. At the end of the day, it's basically going to be calories, macros, frequency of meals. These are the things that we know, irrespective of the actual, where the food is actually coming from. In one sense, we are all on a subsistence diet in that respect. It's just that maybe the quality of the food is a little bit different if you're buying processed. So I'm just taking a leap of, I'm making an assumptive leap here that when he says subsistence, he's thinking more of a plant-based, or at least getting the foods from from gardening and things like that, subsistence. So no, at the end of the day, if you're getting enough good quality protein, right? I mean, look, ideally, we'd like to get it organic, grass-fed, 100% grass-fed, cattle, for just if you're going to eat cow meat. And yeah, lots of vegetables, but really there's going to be no difference, not from a results perspective, Gary, to be honest with you. Look, we're going to tell you, we're going to tell this to all our students and all our clients. The closer you get to quality, unprocessed foods, organic, unprocessed foods, the better. So, how's that?
This is, I think that was great. But when I think about this question, I don't know if the first thing that comes to mind is crazy talk. Like, that's the first thing that I think, crazy talk. I picture Tarzan running through the jungle with a spear and like hunting a buffalo and like jumping on its back. Look, the reality I think is that bison, look here. The challenge is this: how are you going to get the protein that you need truly? Okay. That you need by doing this. And I'm not saying that there's probably not some really, wild things going on out there, people doing this, but in general, the thought of, first off, somebody hiring a personal training client that is living like that, I don't think those are the same avatar, Gary. I mean, just be honest with you. Generally speaking, somebody that's going to live off the land, generally speaking, it's not going to hire a personal training or a personal trainer. With that being said, let's imagine for a second that they did. I think Doug hit it right on the money. If you can get the foods as close as you can through like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods or Sprouts or Publix or wherever, Kroger, wherever you shop, that are organic, then man, why not do that?
Yeah. I mean, just keep in mind, I eat right from my garden. So in the morning I go out, I cut longevity spinach, I cut Sisson spinach. I got a ton of that. Yeah, but come on,
like here's the thing, Doug, is that think of it. Imagine if that was the only place, that you got your food, though. I mean, really, and you're like Joe Farmer here. I mean, you're like, if anyone is going to grow something, or catch a buffalo or spear a hog, it's probably you. But could you imagine if you couldn't go down to the grocery store and
No.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah,
you'd still have to, but maybe Gary can be more specific when he talks about subsistence, because look, if you got chickens and you've got cattle and you've got, you could, I guess you could do it. But look, unprocessed foods as much as possible.
There's some people out there watching this and they're saying, what these guys, I do it. This is what I do every week. What do you mean? How can it not be? Of course it's being done. Okay. All right, cool. So next question we have coming in from Elijah Penny, Sparks, Nevada. What are your thoughts on having an outdoor gym only operating at night or during cooler weather over here in Nevada? No building, all equipment outdoors.
Wow.
Look,
I've seen turf.
Yeah, Elijah, I've seen some really wild business models be very successful. And that, I might not even thought that would have done as well as they have. I think to some degree, my belief now is like, man, if you have passion and you're fired up, I think you can almost make anything work to some degree. With that being said, specific to your question, this goes a little bit back to the avatar of personal training. This is, I think, of boot camp type style client. Generally speaking, the avatar of a person that hires a personal trainer, generally speaking, is not the same type of person that wants to work out outside. They're not. Maybe for an exercise or two, but not for their training regimen. Oh, no. The general personal training client wants to come in. They want to lay on a cushy mat on the floor when they're doing their abdominal work. They want to, have their water bottle. They want the fans on and turning and all these things that are good and normal and all that good stuff that are not available just outside. Now, when you ask about this, I would say I think it's a great boot camp model. So if you're thinking large group personal training or large group, just large group fitness, then yes, for sure. I've ran several of these myself. I have always preferred the personal training business model. Personal training, I think, is where it's at and will always be in my mind, but there's a lot of very successful boot camp operators. That's what this comes to for me, especially when you say, all equipment outdoors and operating at night and during the cooler weather. That's what I would recommend, Elijah. I hope that's helpful. I would not market personal training services and then have them meet with me for a consultation outside. Just want to do it for a boot camp. Yeah, I do that for sure. Doug, there's, I hope that was helpful, Elijah. There's a lot of, changes that will constantly be made in our industry. But, I think in some cases, when it comes to personal training, most of the ones are upping the game for the level of service that we are providing to clients. Right. And I think when Elijah asked this question too, is that some may look at that as, not doing that. And I think his pricing would probably be relative to what he's offering outside, but still in general, we're seeing people come in and, in the personal training business is having a certain expectation that is even higher than just a general personal training studio. So for example, like makeup remover in the bathrooms, mouthwash or certain equipment, we're using the MyZone, in our business and people like that. But these are things that people are like, they're not actually shocked by, they're like, yeah, of course you have that.
Right. I think it goes back to the question of who it is, your demographic that you're attracting into your business. So that avatar has always, ever since even when I started training clients, was always, this type of individual who could afford the pricing that I always charged. And so that really meant a very sort of unique group of folks. And it would not have been, it's one of the reasons why I moved from athletic training, dealing with athletes who I've always loved to train, to dealing with the average apparent healthy person, simply because of the ability to pay the exorbitant prices that I charged. So,
yeah, no, I don't doubt it. You're just always so over the top. Okay, so
wait, did I just see?
Yeah.
Johnny?
Oh, okay. All right. Johnny's
What?
joining us. Well, okay. Well, see, he does make time for us every now and then. He carves it into his schedule, and
good guy.
so he'll be Johnny. If you're, hold on, let's bring him in. Johnny, are you there?
Did you guys miss me?
Oh wow. Man, there he is. Okay, we did. Look, I knew that you had a very important phone call scheduled out of the country. Handling some good business, but we were like,
man,
could that really
Johnny
take precedence over us? Does he not really care? No. Thanks for jumping in here, Johnny. We are running through these. I am on our next question here, but if you can help us field some of these and any others that have come into the group or through the website, we're ready to take them on. I'll bring you back in. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks. All right. So next question is coming in from Sabrina Cloud, Cleveland, Georgia. I always love it when we get a Georgia question.
Where is Cleveland, Georgia?
You know what? Actually, it's funny. Cleveland is not far from where I was this past weekend next to Yona Mountain. The only reason I know that is because I saw some signs. So it's Cleveland is northeast Georgia. So go north of Atlanta to these. I'm just telling you, for those of you that don't know, Georgia is some of the most beautiful part of this country. It really is. North Georgia, the mountains are just unbelievable. The AT Trail, oh gosh, check it out. But that's close to where Cleveland is. So can clients see the same increase in cardio by, whoa, look at this. No wonder why she's from Cleveland, Georgia. Can clients see the same increase in cardio by hiking as a post-lift cardio session instead of running on a treadmill? Man, this is Doug.
Wow. Great question.
Weren't we just talking about this?
Wow.
So let me give you an example, Sabrina. This is a really good question. So this past weekend, I strapped on this. You might see it on my wrist. I'm doing some testing right now for our business to make sure that it's something that we want to do. MyZone has released, and I'm not getting paid for this. I should, but MyZone has released a new product that is very accurate around the wrist. And they also have an arm one, and they have a chest strap. Well, I wanted to compare it to the chest strap. And ironically, that this was actually just as accurate, was putting out the same reading as a chest strap. And you just wear it around your wrist, and it's got this little optical thing. I don't know really how it works, but it works. And I went hiking. So to answer your question, I went hiking this past weekend. I put it on. I was blown away by the amount of calories that, said in my heart rate during this process. It said I burned 1,300 calories. And trust me, I don't need to burn any calories. I wasn't doing the hike for burning calories. I'm trying to put on weight, but it did. Said I burned about 1,300 calories, come on, give or take. But I thought about that, and I was like, man, if I can get some of my clients to like hike 3 days a week.
Not only that, you were a couple of times you were in the 90+% of your max. You were in the red. When I looked at your I
was in
your chart. What were you running, or what were you running up the mountain?
I actually ran to the top.
Oh,
I literally, I trail ran to. What if I told you I was crawling? Would that make a difference?
That would be even more impressive. Yes.
So anyhow, I did it. My heart rate was up, and but it was incredible. So to answer your question, I will tell you, the more that you can get your clients to hike, I don't care where you are in the country, if you have that or if they have a trail or walk, the better than any treadmill, primarily just from all the other benefits of being in nature and around the trees and all this, just everything about being in the outdoors is such a better idea, especially if you're living in Cleveland, Georgia. That is no doubt. As a matter of fact, if I lived there, I'd probably not even have treadmill in my facility or elliptical or the spin bike. I would literally, no doubt, have them doing outside. So if they enjoyed that. So to answer your question, Yes, I would highly recommend it. Yeah, no doubt. After a workout, could you imagine that too? How cool that is. I will say that if I could train somebody, do some weight training, and then have them like leave out of my studio and just walk up a trail, and it goes into a mountain.
Oh yeah.
Doug.
Yeah, I mean look, that by far that's going to be the best scenario for any number of reasons. There's only one downside ever to doing stuff like that, and that is one element of heart rate control. And that's just generally not necessary. It would only be if we were training athletes, for instance, where I need to maintain a heart rate control element, where I have to be in a 75 to 80, 85%, or being close to VT2 or below VT2. Those are the only times when you would say, maybe it's better to be on a piece of equipment where I can actually control heart rate. But we just don't do that with the average. We'd much rather have the client go out and do what you did. I mean, think about what you did. The
only thing that would be done differently with what I did is just more of an interval,
Yeah, right.
And I that's the only thing that I would have done a little bit differently. But that wasn't goal, but I would just have them maybe walk at a faster pace, maybe slower pace, maybe walk and just totally stop and take a break in the trail, and then keep walking, whatever they need to do to get their heart rate up and down.
But it's a great opportunity to validate again the use of a heart rate monitor, which we can't say enough how important it is to have a heart rate monitor for any number of reasons. But one of them is the motivation. I just don't know anybody that uses heart rate monitors that don't get motivated because they've got literally something they can look at. And I like that wrist thing, by the way. Okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is only about $10 more than their regular band. And Doug, I put a chest strap on, which they say is like EKG rated percentage of accuracy. This is spitting out the same number. So this is a no-brainer. It's $10 more. And MyZone sent it to me for free. Thanks, MyZone. I do appreciate that. That's why you're getting this plug right now. So MyZone sent this out to me, and they were kind enough to let me kind of demo it and keep it, and I'm gonna use it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's the deal.
That's awesome.
Let's bring Johnny. Let's bring Johnny in here and see what he's got for us. Johnny, tell us what do you have in from the groups? What is the next question that we have in line here?
All right. So the next question is from Marvin Franks from Mount Dora, Florida. This question is, I've never heard of Mount Dora. Have you guys?
Yeah, Mount Dora. Oh yeah,
Mount Dora. Isn't there like a cartoon?
That's copyright.
I'm just saying. Isn't there like a cartoon?
Marvin's question is, how far of a radius should I have to reach out to clients on Facebook ads? Should I try to get folks from my town or other towns as well?
A great question.
Great question. So, Marvin, when it comes to Facebook ads, it really depends. I'm guessing that you're asking because you have a physical location in Mount Dora and you're not doing online training. So if you have a physical location, generally speaking, we like to go out 5 miles, but that depends. It depends a little bit based on the market that you're serving. So for example, 5 miles in a city is a massive coverage area. And for some people, it'll take them 30 minutes or more to get those 5 miles. Whereas if you're in the country, you could probably go 10, maybe 15 miles and somebody can be at your studio in 10, 15 minutes. So if you're in the city, I would say 5 miles or less, without a doubt. Don't go any further than that. People, especially people that live in a city, they don't want to drive. They don't want to drive far to get to their studio, to their gym. Now, again, if you're outside the city in the suburbs or in Podunk, in that case, I would say 10 to 15 miles, give or take, would be the max. 15 miles would certainly be the max that we've had the best success at people not only converting as leads, but actually scheduling appointments and coming in and showing up. A lot of times, we can market outside it and get people to come in. But the reality is that they've got to show up to your facility 2 or 3 days a week, right? On average, 2 to 3 days a week. After 2 or 3 weeks, if they come further than that, or if it's not convenient, it just doesn't end up working out. So generally speaking, those are qualifying factors, what we call them, geographic qualifying factors. So to answer your question, I would recommend, no more than 5 miles or less. It could be even a mile. If you're in San Francisco or New York, you're doing a mile. If you're in Atlanta, we're going to cover 5. There's a big Atlanta's kind of spread out metro. We've got Buckhead, Midtown, and downtown, so it covers a good area. But if you're in Midtown, you should be marketing to Midtown. If you're in Buckhead, just be marketing to and so you just think about that town. But in the city, less than 5 miles. In the suburbs or podunk, no more than 15 miles is how I would run those ads. So I hope that helps. Johnny, any follow up on that?
No, that definitely works for I've seen that work before, and I think that's about right. That 5 mile radius, like you said, I don't think you should be, if it's your gym, if you're trying to get folks to come into your gym, don't waste your money trying to convince somebody, coming over from like a town, a half hour over, if it's a business, such as like the university, try and go ahead and grab everyone from all over the States. But I think you hit it right on the head, Core.
Okay, great. Yeah, I think in general, it's easy to get somebody in for their first appointment, and they will go far for that. They go farther, but just keep in mind the end game. Always think about the end in mind, that they're going to be showing up 2 to 3 days a week. Are they going to want to do that? Are they going to want to do that? So that's who you're going to want to market to. Right. And a lot of times they'll want to come in. And they'll say yes, and they might even pay you and enroll, but it's short-lived because they get bogged down. So I hope that helps. I'm going to bounce over to this next one I have here from Stephanie Atwater, Boulder, Colorado. I've never been there, but I hear it. Actually, I take that back. I drove through there, never stayed, but I drove through. They're beautiful. Which is better for developing increased cardio, biking uphill or running uphill? What is better for developing increased cardio, biking uphill or running uphill? Well, Stephanie, I'll let Doug get into the science of this, but as far as I'm concerned, whether you bike, run, walk, ride a tricycle, whatever, that's less important as how your heart rate is impacted. That's generally, I like to, as far as developing increased cardio, it's going to be based on the zone that they're training in, the percentage of max heart rate that they're training in. So for example, if you're running, if you run or bike at the same speed, of course, running you're going to put you at a higher percentage, but it's all relative. So you're going to be going faster on a bike. If you're training at that same 80%, for example, you're still at 80% of your max heart rate. So with that being said, you can develop increased cardio, in my opinion, no matter what, modality or whatever you want to call it. Doug, what say you?
Did you just use the word modality?
Will you stop doing that? I mean,
So here's the deal. Yeah, you're absolutely correct. The difference between running and cycling is simply in the way that you can sort of moderate how you want to change the intensity. So the only variable that I can change in running is speed. Okay, so if I'm running, I got to run faster or slower, and that's going to make a difference in my heart rate. So it's generally a single variable. If the hill angle is whatever it is, the only variable I have is speed. With cycling, technically, I have 2 variables. So think about this now. It depends on the bike, obviously, and I'm assuming it's going to be a
street
multi-speed bike. If you got a 10-speed bike, you can change the gear ratios. So what are your 2 variables then? Well, I can stay at the same gear ratio. I can be in 3rd gear, 5th gear, whatever, and I can crank faster. So I've got 1 variable to change heart rate is speed, right? So now I can go faster. What else could I do? Well, I could stay at the same crank rate, right? But I can change my crank ratio. So I can go up the hill in second gear, or I can go up the hill in sixth gear. And sixth gear is going to be obviously harder. So the only difference from a cardio training perspective would be that with a bike, I have these different variables. I have two different variables generally that I can modify versus running, where I have a single variable. Of course, I could put a vest on or whatever, but that's really the only difference. Obviously, running, like you said, Corey, is that running is going to impact cardiorespiratory capacity a little bit more, obviously, than cycling. And so both are great.
Let me just clarify this, Stephanie. So, when you're walking, let's just say it's flatland. So you're saying uphill, right? Biking or running uphill versus, I guess, flatlands. If you're running flat, it's all relative. So if you're running flat at 70, 80% of your max heart rate, or you're biking uphill at 70, 80% max heart, Doug, you correct me if I'm wrong, then I don't know how either one is going to be more beneficial than other of developing. Now, if let's just say, for example, you're going at the same speed and you're flat versus an incline, of course, your heart rate is going to be higher on the going uphill. So to answer your question, yes, it could be if your speed is the same and you're training at a higher intensity, but it all comes down to, the percentage of your max heart rate. Let me put it this way. You can train going uphill and achieve less improvement than training on flat lands if you're training harder on flat lands. So for example, if you're walking up a hill, right, and you're training at 70% of your max heart rate, but you're sprint walking, and you're getting your heart rate up to 90%, down to 70%, up to whatever the case is, then you will see bigger improvements through the flat land. So it's not so much as the incline. I hope that helps.
Yeah. It's an issue of heart rate. Generally, two lower body type movements like cycling and running, you're not going to see much of a difference in the ability to get to a percentage of your max. As soon as you scale over to upper body movements, it makes it a little bit more difficult to hit those percentages of max. But in that case, either one. The only difference is going to be the impacting of the running versus the no impact of cycling. So,
but all I have to tell you is, based on this past weekend, running up a hill,
get out.
It's no joke. I'm just. You see those numbers, Doug?
I saw those numbers. I was scared. It was very.
All right, let's bounce back over to Mr. Johnny Gonzalez. Johnny, tell us, what do you have for us, big guy? Who's next?
All righty. This next one's from Amanda Deese over in Charleston, South Carolina. Her question is, should I offer a daycare service at my gym or keep it strictly for teens and adults? So I'm assuming she means like, hey, to daycare or not to daycare.
Yeah, great question. So look, if you have a gym or a personal training studio, now I could only expect or assume that she's saying as a service to the clients that are working out there, and not as a separate business, like running a daycare. Now, should I offer a daycare service at my gym? I mean, I don't know. That sounds like that, Johnny, that could be where she's actually asking us if she should run a daycare service versus provide a daycare service to gym members. And here is all I have to say is look, I have no idea, like none, about the daycare business, service business. All I know is they're making some of these places making some really good money. I've looked at the numbers and oh my gosh. But as far as a service to your gym, only if you have enough volume. Like if you have enough volume, generally speaking, and Amanda, please don't take this the wrong way, you're generally not going to be asking this question because you're going to have some business systems in place if you're doing this kind of volume that justify a daycare that would have already helped you understand what to do and how to do that generally. So for example, I say, like, if you're a higher volume facility, like for example, a Gold Gym, a big Gold Gym franchise or a Powerhouse or Planet Fitness or something like that, they're going to have already, because you have to do those type of numbers, volume, to justify generally a I'm not going to say daycare service, but a daycare amenity inside of your gym, and they would help you with the business plan. So if you're asking, this is a good chance that you might not be at that those volume numbers. I think you can Google and find out for sure exactly what those are. I don't know. Like, generally speaking, I know in the juice bar business, if you want to open up a juice bar in your gym, you better be having at least 1,000 workouts a day. I don't know what that number is for daycare. It's a good question. But generally, if you're doing, let's just say if it's anywhere close to like a juice bar and you're doing 1,000 workouts a day, it's a good chance that you're connected with a franchise system. With that being said, if you're asking about a daycare service, no, absolutely not. I wouldn't. If I owned a really successful gym, is doing really well, and I wanted to grow that business, I would open up another location. I want to add a daycare service to that, or I would raise the rates on my service for my gym. Those are the two first things that I would do. I would definitely not add a daycare service as a business, as a separate business. So I hope. And any other thoughts on that, Mr. Blake?
Yeah, I ran a couple of clubs, and in one of them we actually got rid of the daycare service.
Mm. Yeah, what was the main reason?
It wasn't an internal profit center, and the total volume that we were doing just did not justify maintaining. I think we had either two full-time attendants or something like that. And then it was taking up space that was actually, we then ultimately used for a profitable center inside the club. So
yeah, I hope that helps. Johnny, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree. You definitely have to be bringing in those numbers. I used to train at a gym where they had a daycare service, but it's funny because I've only ever really seen it there. I haven't really seen it at some of the smaller studios, so that's really interesting. I wonder if she must have been either her clients, are they more, parents, it's looking like they're not. It may not be necessarily younger folks or folks who you wouldn't have any children. Really interesting. But yeah, I agree. If you're not bringing in the numbers, you have to make sure everything is really tight and you're servicing your clients as well as possible. So don't involve yourself like with a shake bar. You wouldn't do it if you're not having the people come in. So
yeah,
don't waste time.
Yeah, Amanda, just know this. A lot of times our minds can deceive us. They can deceive us, and don't let that happen. Sometimes people will make decisions based on a emotion versus logic, and that's where they get into trouble. If you have, let's just say, 10 or 15 people coming to you saying, hey, look, I really going to have to leave, or I got to find a place with a daycare service. Those are going to tug at your heartstring maybe, or get you thinking that that's opportunity, or it should have 10 or 15 people might, be a real buzz for you. But generally speaking, that's not even close to the amount of people. Now, also, when one person asks, there's other people that are thinking about that, but you would need an enormous amount of people asking you for that on a regular basis. And then sometimes, like I said, we can come across an idea and this comes through our mind. And next thing you know, we're deceiving ourselves that there is an opportunity there that just because a handful of people have asked for it, we should go after and target, and that could end up being a challenge. So that's our feedback on that. I hope that was helpful. Amanda, let's move on to our next question from Travis Rate in Stella, Puerto Rico.
Oh,
all right. So how much of an impact does training for speed and agility in sand really make? I could have swore like about a month ago or so, we got a question similar to this, and pretty interesting. Doug, why don't you, I'll hand that one over to you. So again, Travis is asking, how much of an impact does training for speed and agility in the sand really make, I mean, of course, somebody from Puerto Rico is going to ask a question like this, right?
Well, and just keep in mind, my first question is, are you talking barefoot, or you're talking as an actual training modality where I'm actually in my training gear and my sneakers, and now I'm running on a surface that does not have the same level of stability?
So I'll ask you, because as a football fan, you guys know I'm big on football. Marshawn Lynch in the offseason in Washington, he would train on the beaches out there in Timberland boots with a weight vest.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy's a pretty strong runner, speedy, power and speed. So
right. Yeah.
Are there levels to it?
And so always
Johnny, how do you know this?
He has actual videos on his Instagram account.
Johnny, so where did you find no, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Doug, what do you think?
The answer is of course it's going to have a different effect, and it might even be a beneficial effect. It's not like I've seen or have read any substantive research that has done significant number of trials to show that it is a better way than on stable ground. The fact that a professional football player or anybody does it does not equate to causation and create any greater effect. If you like to do it on the sand, will it have some effect on ankle stability? Yeah, sure, of course, because it's sand, so there's going to be ankle mobility.
Johnny, what's the football player's name?
Marshawn Lynch.
All I have to say, Doug, is how many people watch those videos that he's just talking about, and they're running to the beach right now. I mean, they're getting up at 5 a.m. and they're going down to the beach.
It's funny because again, this is just it's probably off the topic. Whenever we look at training modalities that take you off and away from the actual event that you're going to participate in, I say this because in swimming, for instance, when we would train for swimming way back in the 80s, there was this idea that we should get swimmers out of the water onto weightlifting equipment and have them do all these different movements with cables, and it turns out they got slower. Why? Because to be a good swimmer, what do you need to do? Swim. Okay. So then all of a sudden, you started to see the top level Olympic swimmers spending not an hour in the water, not 2 hours in the water, not 4 hours in the water. They started spending 5 hours, in some cases 6 hours, with lots of ancillary training on land, because there is land training. But at the end of the day, if you're a football player, you've got to spend a lot of time on concrete and AstroTurf, right?
Johnny, will you reach out to Did you say Marshawn?
Yeah, Marshawn.
Will you reach out to Marshawn's PR reps and let them know that Doug and Corey believe that he should spend more time on the field and less time in the sand?
Now, the other question is, what type of sand and how close to the water? Because you guys know this, the closer you get to the water, the what?
Mm-hmm.
The more compacted the sand is. So you're going to have it's going to be closer to more solid ground with some minor variation in the ability, the compression ability on the foot and therefore the ankle, versus moving further up to where, there's mounds of sand. And no, I never recommend athletes do things like that. Why? Because it changes the biomechanics. So again, if you're a runner, what do?
Run.
You run. If you are a distance runner and you're running marathons, that's what you do. So it may seem almost too simplistic in 2021, but the reality is that in the science of biomechanics, we do know that the human body adapts to whatever you do to it. So if we go too far over into these unique training environments, there may be maladaptations to it as well. So now remember, I'm not just running fast like this guy has to do. Now I've got to worry about other issues related to balance and the biomechanics on my knees and the muscles around my knees and the LPHC and the look. All of those become issues that we would consider, but far be it from me to
look at the end of the day, Travis, if it's really truly for speed and agility on the field, their performance, as you heard just Doug explain it, great. But if it's for, just getting fit, or somebody wants that, they enjoy it and you're doing something unique, then by all means, absolutely. I don't know why. I feel, Johnny, there's a possibility that Doug is going to head down to the beach tomorrow morning and put on his heart rate monitor. He's going to do some testing. I don't know why. I've got this weird feeling that's going to happen.
Oh, it's going to happen.
Wait. Hang on a second. Johnny, do you recommend that I do that?
Do you
recommend that
Johnny, yes. Yes. Okay. All right. Look, Natalie Trask from Dalton, Georgia. Should I offer training based on the wants of certain body appearances, superhero, model, and etc., or just keep training normal with no gimmicks?
Wow.
So this question is in from Natalie Trask, Dalton, Georgia. Should I offer training based on the wants of a certain body appearance, superhero / model, etc., or keep training with normal with no gimmicks?
Yeah, that's funny. I've seen some of those workouts now online. They pop up: the bear workout, the stallion, the viper, the Superman.
This. So are they talking about what the actors and actresses do?
I think, from based on that question, just like, let me see. So yeah, those body types, like, some of the guys want to look like Thor. Some of the women want to look like Black Widow,
Wonder Woman.
I've seen that, where they show the workouts of the actors. For instance, Chris Hemsworth is the guy that plays Thor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw something where he was doing some ab routine, which looked suspiciously just like every other ab routine that I've seen other people.
Look, here's the response on this one. It's really pretty straightforward in the fact that whenever you ask or gimmicks, it doesn't, all the rest of the stuff is like, everything else just clears the table. And to answer your question, you should never, as a personal trainer, you should never use gimmicks as a method for promoting or marketing your business. You just really shouldn't. Now, I don't know. I guess maybe I should look at the full definition of a gimmick, but a gimmick to me is something that is, it's not going to work. When I think gimmick, I think more of something that, or gimmicky, I think of something that is, just going to get somebody excited.
And it's deceptive.
Very short term.
Yeah. That's the way. So, with that being said, no gimmicks. Does that mean that you can't? Let me give you an example. Years ago, I don't know how long ago, but do you guys remember the movie? Oh gosh, was it 300 or was it 500? What was
300?
300.
Okay, so that was one that I remember specifically. That was like based, I guess you can call it superhero, but it was like the 300 workout. Are you doing the 300 workout, right? And so that is somewhat gimmicky, and the reason being is because, a lot of these guys that they're taking the photos of and they're doing the videos of, and they're talking about their workout, they don't show you what else that these guys are doing. And the reality is they're doing some things that you might not want to do. And you think that if you're going to do that exercise, you're going to do that workout, that you're going to get that physique. Well, two things. One, do you even have the genetics, to even have that type of physique? But two, are you going to be willing to possibly take some drugs that might be being used to get them very lean? And in a lot of cases, a lot of the actors in these performances are using special supplements. And so that's, now, can you have fun with it? Can you have fun with it? Not make any promises, or, sure, you could say, like, got this out of the 300, or, here are some ideas. This is what, I don't know, Tom Cruise or one of these superheroes, Thor, whatever, does, just to have fun with it. I don't see anything wrong with that. I wouldn't market. I would do that like once they're already in the gym. I wouldn't use that as a way to market them or get them into the gym. I would use it as a way to, when they're in the gym, just kind of motivate them for that week or for that month, do something different. That's my feedback. I certainly would not offer, as you say, training based on body appearances. I saw something, let me share this with you. I saw something yesterday I wanted to share with you guys, and this might be a little too hokey, but it was this quote. It said, "If only our eyes saw souls instead of bodies, how very different our ideals would be of beauty." Mm-hmm. And when I read that, I screenshot, I say that, and I said, it's so funny too, because, I deal with a lot of people that are seriously overweight, and I deal with some people that are seriously fit on a daily basis right now. And some of these people are so lovely. But people judge so many people by the way that they look. It's just unbelievable. And I had the opportunity to just, it was just yesterday. I'm sitting with a client that is, severely overweight. And I asked her just to talk about her goals. And I say, I understand what you're trying to achieve. I want to know why. And she took off her glasses, and this is a professional woman, okay, in her, I guess 40s, maybe, took off her glasses, and it just started flooding. She just started crying. And everything to that point would never make you think that she had felt that way inside, that there was something in there hurting his body. And she just started flooding. And she was the kindest, softest woman. And the point is that and again, I know this is never going to be the case. We use this to motivate people to train and achieve different. But I wish we did more marketing to help people feel better about themselves instead of target an unrealistic superhero or model, that we, motivated them and did these consultations and marketing to bring them in. Yes, to lose weight. Yes, to lose body fat. Yes, to gain muscle, but to feel better about themselves, because I'm seeing it every day. I'm seeing people that are very, very sad inside about how they're feeling about themselves, and they're living in that body every single day. But then I read a quote like that, and I said, look, if everyone looked at them as somebody that's like really overweight differently, and if we didn't just look at the bodies, how would things different? Because this woman's soul was beautiful. So to answer your question, I wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it. Definitely not models, definitely not super. With that being said, okay, in our own business, we do motivational quotes with models. We do. Okay, we do motivational quotes, and if we run a promotion, we might use this beautiful woman or this beautiful man on the promotion, okay, because we know that it attracts eyeballs. Sex sells. We know that, okay, and so I'm not going to say that you can't do it in the right way, but the bottom line is that when you capture them, as long as what you're promising them and what you're sharing with them is right on point, I think it's fine. I think people should be inspired. Even the woman I met with yesterday, I think she should be inspired by somebody that's living a really fit lifestyle and has a very fit body. But I wouldn't market. That's just, Doug, what can you add to that? Those are just my thoughts on, whether or not she should offer training based on superheroes or models or just normal people.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what she said, or just do regular training. Well, as far as I know, it's the regular training that gets all the results anyway. So I'm not sure there's any different ways to train other than the tried and true ways to train. And more than likely, even gimmicky type of exercises themselves are probably going to be problematic to begin with. But yeah, it's a good point. And by the way, in 300, these guys are smart.
Keep going.
Right?
I'll keep going. I'll be right back.
these guys are from Sparta, right? So the idea that that you're going to look, or somebody's actually going to look like that, just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And these actors, by the way, spend pretty much their entire day, 10, 12, 15 hours a day. It's never going to be just one workout that makes the difference. So their eating is very specific, and they are training multiple times during the day. So
yeah.
What do you think, Johnny? I think that hits
I definitely agree. I don't think it should ever be gimmicky. Just, oh, what's that? Ooh. What do we have there?
Ooh, what we got?
Wait a second.
Okay, so I wanted to grab this from our bullpen. Okay, this is, if you can see this. So this is a promotion, for example. We wanted to try something a little bit different, and this was a promotion that we did. It was very successful. Basically, more or less, it was 50% off. They buy a year, they get a year. So they're paying full price at a year, and then you get a year off. And this is something that we did. It was a big promotion. As you can see, this was a while ago. But we would use girls and women like the model here on a lot of our stuff. Well, then we started to say, how do we reach the people that maybe be really intimidated by the fitness model, and them seeing somebody more like them doing the exercise maybe would bring them in. So then we started to recruit, or use, if you will, people that were overweight, that were just getting started. We got a tremendous response from some of this, but over time, we would have these different quotes, and we would use both, and just to see, and we always got a better response from the ones that we had with the fitness model. Now, with that being said, when we put them together, this worked really well. That doesn't mean, because we got a better response, for example, engagement at that time, because we weren't tracking actual dollars contracted, that those are people that are signing up for personal training. I say this to influencers all the time, is that, do you want people to, the highest amount of clicks and engagement, or do you want the highest amount of dollars that people are going to buy? There's people that will see a model like this, and about, 9 people may be intimidated, and 1 person is inspired. And this is the specific type of person that writes a check for personal training. Now, we might have saw that we got a less response from marketing with somebody like this, maybe half the response. But what if I told you that 50% of those people actually are going to write a check for personal training? That changes things a little bit. So what I would highly recommend, and again, I share this, we say we've used fitness models, both men and women, in our advertising since day one. That's always going to be something that we do. But in general, we would never say, be like her, like you're going to get a body like her. That we never advertise anything like that. And I think when you tie it into a model or a superhero workout, you might be saying, like, in their mind, well, if I do this exercise, I can be like Thor. That ain't happening, and so, but if you use a picture of Thor to come in and get a workout and start working out, Thor works out, you should work out too. That's a little bit different. So,
oh, there goes my workout plan.
Doug, Johnny, we should figure out a way to do the Doug's workout. Come follow the Doug's workout. Okay. So look, guys, that is it. Thank you. Those are all the questions. Johnny, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for firing those off. I'm glad that you were able to jump in here at the end here.
Of course. Same. Always happy to be here, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, so for everyone out there that is tuned into Personal Trainer Talk, thank you. And all those that have sent in these questions, thank you for your questions. We're happy to answer these for you. We will get through. I know there's other ones that have been sent in that we weren't able to get to. We try to limit it so we can actually have enough time with each question. But thank you so much. And again, if you are out there and you are not achieving the goals that you want as a personal trainer, whether it is client results, the number of clients, client service, the amount of revenue, if you're not achieving your goals, you should really consider making an investment to come to Atlanta, Georgia for a 2-week live course that we're holding in November. The enrollment is closing also in 2 weeks. So if you want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you. You could reach out to somebody on our team and we'll go from there. But other than that, this Doug, any last words of wisdom for them?
Grow your own food.
Grow your own food. Always. Guys, this is Doug and Corey checking off Wednesday, 3:00. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week. Have a great week. Talk soon. Bye.
See you.